the human experience. Such a beautiful thing. How do we form culture? Not looking at it scientifically, like from the point of the social science as they would want to describe it. But you know that when a group here referring to human beings, it could be even animals, as the case may be, begin to come together to do things in a similar way over and over, like a tradition. And it is passed from one timeline to another. You could call that culture. So, a lot of us, when you ask this question, a good number of us in school, that is, what's your worst subject? A good number of us will say math. I'm like, why is it math? I was doing an assignment with my little girl the other day on ratio, and somehow in course of doing the work, one of the answers, or some of the answers, when I came in, were leading to fraction, and like, she said, Daddy, it's not correct. And I was trying to explain to her, fractions are not always whole numbers. So, and so I told her, okay, go back to your teacher and he will explain it to you and all of that. So, the culture of algorithm, that's what I want to talk about. I had to lay that foundation for us to understand the culture of algorithm. Now, if you mention the word algorithm to a layman or whatever, the first thing that would most likely come to the person's mind is a math problem, because it sounds mathematical, algorithm. And a lot of us shy away from math, but every day we come to see that math is influencing everything we're doing, so much so. So now the technology age, the age of artificial intelligence and all of that, we now have this issue of dealing with algorithm or algorithms, because a good number of us on the social media platform, marketing, commercial activities, e-commerce, and what have you. So now it's all about manipulating the numbers. So the other day I was having a conversation with my mentor, and we're talking about learning and all of that. And the issue of why are people afraid of math came up. And he was trying to explain to me that when you look at math is, algebra, arithmetic, as the case may be, but you find plus, minus, division, multiplication, the equal to sign, what else? So all the other concepts rides on this. When you bring one and one together, that's what addition, what happens? It increases. So when you take some out, what happens? That's a minus, or taking away, it reduces. So when you bring one and take it to a given power, what is that? Multiplication. So it's not just adding now, you are now increasing in that, what I say, geometric, or, that. So when you look at it, that is what is playing out today in our culture, in our world. The number game. And you've come to see that the beautiful things of life are not accentuated, as it were, but the negatives, supposedly the negatives, the very unserious, fickle stuffs, are those things that are being promoted. So you now come to see that one generation, because of the human tradition, picks it up and, yes, you understand, passes it on to the next generation, and that generation takes it over. And before you know it, so 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we seldom heard the word algorithm. Did you? I don't think so. But now, because of how the social media has pervaded, is so pervasive, rather, invaded our space, it's all about the numbers now. And the numbers seem to sway to the side of the negatives. You know, you're streaming. What do we do to make this content, as we call it, viral? So we go follow the algorithm. So I was discussing with my team the other day on something that happened. The way I like presenting my thoughts on social media, you know, and I was like, okay, why are we not doing that anymore? One of my team members just said, sir, the algorithm is not favoring it anymore. And I was like, okay, what is this culture of algorithm? So everything we're doing now must follow or must be influenced by the algorithm. Okay. So how do I create a positive algorithm? How do I create a mathematical principle, or use the mathematical principle to my advantage in, you know, increasing positivity, the truth? It's a big question, really big. And I think it's one we need to look at, because the danger in negative algorithm is that we buy the lie for nothing. The lie is embraced. We now begin to live the lie. Yeah. Someone said once, when you tell a lie 1,000 times, it becomes most likely true. People begin to believe it. So we need to approach it. For those of us who are creating thoughts, creating content, as we look at it today, everybody, you know, is into the space of content creation, and we don't understand. We don't understand. A good number of us don't understand the responsibility of what we are doing. So it is a question of taking responsibility, then creating that mathematical power to push what you are doing forward. The culture of algorithm. I think the first time I heard the word algorithm, what came to my mind was something we did back in school. You remember it? The log table. Who remembers the log table? Did you ever use the log table? Yeah, logarithm, as we call it, influenced the way we looked at things, the way we, you know, when we're in the lab, you know, you're carrying out some calculations in the lab and all of that. Oh, I need the log table. You pick the log table. So it's the same, in my opinion, the same principle now that most of the social media platforms, you know, are curating. And you know that there's a psychology to it. Yeah. So at the back end of what we call tech, as in technology, there is a psyche to it. There's a psyche to it. So what is psyche? Simply put, in my simple explanation, is spirit. Yes. So patterns, how we think, how we move, how we relate, and all of that. So on the back of that tech, there's a psychology in. So what the psychology does is to manipulate the mathematical ends of the tech to drive. Am I confusing you? I don't think so. Some of these things are things we know in terms of perception, but because we've not found the right words to describe them, so we just, the culture of algorithm. Yeah, the culture of algorithm. So let me explain a little further. Imagine you going through, let's say walking through a city, so many streets and all that, and the beginning of your journey, you saw a particular color, red or white or yellow or blue. And every 10 steps you take or every 20 steps you take, the yellow repeats, the yellow repeats, the yellow repeats. The likelihood for you to go to bed thinking about yellow will most likely be 90, if not 100. Yeah, the algorithm of the day, you may call it that, the pattern of the day. So mathematical patterns have been created and it's moving. So you see a particular number, 2, every 20 steps, every 30 steps, you see 2 in everything. You look at the billboard, 2, you look at, so your focus is more or less, should I say, taken over and interpreted by a mathematical. All right then, we can actually change. Yeah, we can actually change it when we put up the positive mathematical designs out there. The culture of algorithm. Okay. All right then, guys. Sometimes you need to pay attention to those salient and quiet things. Salient and quiet things. Take for example, have you tried to observe, look at ants. They always walk in a straight line. Try it, go look at it. They don't walk in jagged, zigzag. They always follow. So there is this algorithm, a mathematical design that they are following. If you try to derail them, they create another pattern, an algorithm that leads them. You see? I just woke you up. All right then. The culture of algorithm is powerful, more powerful than you know.